Do you ever find yourself eating when you're not even hungry? Or maybe you find yourself regretting how much you've eaten after the fact? Well, what if I told you that overcoming overeating isn't about willpower, but about what's going on in your body and your mind? Hi, my name is Trudy Stone, and I'm a certified culinary nutritionist dedicated to helping women break free from unhealthy eating habits, to stop overeating, and to manage food cravings. And today I'm sharing powerful strategies to help you to stop overeating, whether it's during the weekend or whether it's at night or maybe just anytime at all. You're gonna understand by the end of this video the science behind why you overeat and what you can do to stop overeating. Okay, so first let's talk about why you overeat. And to understand this, it's really important that you understand the hormones that are at play here. So the first one is ghrelin. Ghrelin is known as the hunger hormone. That's the one that sends a signal to your brain that you're hungry. And high levels of ghrelin can actually make you feel ravenous. Then there's leptin. Leptin is a hormone that tells your brain that you're full. Unfortunately, eating a lot of high sugar or a lot of high processed foods can lead to leptin resistance, which interferes with sending that signal to your brain that you're full. And that means that you're more likely to overeat. Then there's cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone. And when you are stressed, that cortisol goes sky high, which may lead you to overeat. And typically when you do overeat, you're not overeating celery or carrot sticks. You're eating those foods that are really high in sugar and high in fat. I know for me, when I was on my weight loss journey, I was trying to lose weight at probably the most stressful time of my life. And I was turning to a lot of foods to help me to ease that stress and help me to soothe my emotions, when really, that just made the situation a whole lot worse. Now that you're aware with some of the hormones involved in overeating, let's talk about tips to help you to stop overeating. The first tip is to prioritize sleep. Did you know that lack of sleep increases ghrelin and decreases leptin the next day? Again, ghrelin is the hunger hormone, which makes you hungrier, and leptin is a hormone that tells your brain that you're full. And when you don't get enough sleep, you actually throw off this hormonal balance. So getting quality rest is one of the easiest ways to help you to stop overeating. Coming up, I'll talk a little bit more specifically on how you can stop overeating at night. Also, I have a whole video on how to fall asleep faster and how to improve your sleep quality. So make sure to check that out after this one. The next tip is to try intermittent fasting with a little bit of a twist. Intermittent fasting can help to reduce hunger hormones, and it can also help to give your digestive system a little bit of a break. But remember, it's not about skipping meals entirely. It's about timing your meals in the best way that works for your body. So for example, I intermittent fast every day, and it's not even something that I think about anymore. So I usually stop eating at around 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I won't have breakfast until about 9 or 10 o'clock the next day. So I'm getting at least a 12-hour fast, and that should be easy enough for most people to do. Just try starting with 12 hours and just see how you feel. Pretty soon, it will become a habit. And again, when I talked about my weight loss journey earlier in this video and throughout pretty much all my other videos, intermittent fasting was one thing that I did that really did become a habit. And at first it was a little bit difficult to stop overeating at night, but once I got that habit of that 12-hour fast, it just became a lot easier. And that's the thing, when it comes to eating healthier or when it comes to losing weight, really it is about developing healthier habits. That's why I wrote a whole entire book about it. The next tip is to sip on some green tea. Look, green tea is a game changer, okay? And here is why. So green tea has a compound called catechins, which may help with fat loss and may also help to speed up your metabolism. In fact, in one study, they found that participants who had about 4 to 5 cups of green tea daily, combined with about 25 minutes of exercise a few times a week, was able to burn more belly fat. Next, incorporate probiotics into your diet. This is another one that a lot of people are not doing. So probiotics are kind of like the good guys of your gut. They help with digestion, and they may also help with food cravings as well. So foods like Greek yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, miso, these are all packed with probiotics. So one tip that I like to do to actually squeeze more probiotics into my diet is I like to use miso in my salad dressings. So anytime I'm making any sort of like dressing or a sauce, I'll try to incorporate miso into it if I can. Also, probiotics may help to enhance your mood. And that's really important because During our weight loss journeys, sometimes we can feel a little bit down, or our mood can be a little bit off, or maybe we feel a little bit stressed. So by adding in those probiotics, you may actually be helping to enhance your mood. The next tip is to incorporate omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids found in foods like salmon and walnuts and flax seeds, they may provide anti-inflammatory benefits to your body, and they may also help to enhance brain function as well. All right, so I promised you earlier I talked a little bit more about how to stop overeating at night and on the weekends. So let's do that now. Okay, so here is how to stop overeating at night. See, overeating at night is something that a lot of people struggle with because, having that treat at the end of the day is a way for you to wind down and a way for you to actually make yourself feel better after a really long or stressful day. But here is how you can break the cycle. Plan a satisfying dinner. You want a dinner that has a really great source of protein, healthy fats, as well as fiber. Also add in some complex carbs in there too. All these nutrients are gonna help you to feel full and satisfied for a longer period of time. For example, maybe you do, a grilled salmon with some avocado and maybe something like a brown rice. All of these things is gonna help you to feel full for a longer period of time, which may prevent overeating later on in the evening. The next tip is to set a cutoff time from the kitchen. So earlier I talked about intermittent fasting, so maybe that's where this comes in here. When you have that cutoff time, this sends a signal to your brain that, hey, the kitchen is closed. And this helps you to develop more of a routine as well. After dinner, you might also want to try to incorporate some foods that might help you to have a more restful night's sleep. So I get it, ice cream, candy, or chips, all of these things might be calling your name, but you're better off adding in maybe something like banana instead. Bananas are a really great source of the muscle relaxing nutrient potassium, and they're also a really great source of stress busting magnesium. But you just want to make sure that you pair that banana with something like nuts before your head hits the pillow, because that's gonna help with blood sugar regulation. Actually, nuts like walnuts as well as pistachios, those are also really great sources of sleep-inducing melatonin. Speaking of nuts and seeds like pistachios, even bananas are a really great source of sleep-inducing tryptophan. Now, we've all heard of tryptophan before because we know that one of the best, most talked about sources of tryptophan is turkey, right? We always talk about how turkey makes you fall asleep after Thanksgiving dinner. Well, instead, maybe just add in some bananas, like I said, and maybe just pair that with some walnuts as well, and that might help you to have a more restful night's sleep. Hey, actually, if you want me to create a video on some of the best foods for sleep, let me know in the comments below. The next tip is to address emotional eating triggers. Many people eat at night because they feel stressed or lonely or bored. So you want to find some non-food ways to relax. This could be taking a nice warm bubble bath. It could be journaling. It could be meditating. Just finding ways to relax that don't involve food. In my sleep video that I mentioned earlier, I talk about how to establish a wind down routine, which sends a signal to your brain that, hey, it is time to wind down and it is time to prepare for bed. These tips in the video may also help you to improve your quality of sleep so you sleep more restfully through the night as well. So make sure to check out that video. I put a link in the description for you. The next tip to avoid overeating at night is to not skip lunch or dinner, because this is just gonna make you feel more ravenous. So you wanna make sure that you're eating regular balanced meals and snacks throughout the day. All of this is gonna help to prevent nighttime binging. And the last tip to avoid overeating at night is to hydrate, because sometimes hunger can actually be mistaken for thirst. So keep a glass of water nearby. I always have my little tumbler here of my water, so I can always drink water whenever I need it. I also keep it beside my bed at night so that if I wake up during the night and I feel a little bit thirsty, I'll just take a small sip of water. Okay, so let's talk about how to stop overeating on the weekends, because this is something that a lot of people do. And hey, I'm even guilty of this myself, so I'm gonna put my hand up for this one. Weekends can be a free-for-all when it comes to food, so let's talk about some tips on how you can stop overeating on the weekends. The first tip is to stick to a routine. You wanna try to eat your meals the same time on the weekends as you do throughout the week. This is gonna keep your body on a regular schedule or a routine. Next, you wanna plan ahead for social events. So if you know you're gonna be going out, maybe eat a smaller, more balanced meal or snack before you head out. Again, this is something that I did during my weight loss journey. So if I knew I was going out to a restaurant with some friends, what I would do is I would have something like an apple about 30 minutes before I head out. The reason why is because apples are a really great source of fiber, which again, is gonna help to keep you full and prevent overeating. The other thing I would do too is I would look at the menu ahead of time before I headed out. So that way when I get into the restaurant, I'm not dazed and confused or dazzled by everything that's on the menu, and I actually know ahead of time what I'm going to be eating. The next tip is to use the 80-20 rule. And this is something that I still do. So you wanna make sure that 80% of the time you're eating healthy, but allow for that 20% of the time where you can eat some of those foods that you really love and enjoy. This way you're not gonna feel deprived. So what this means for me is that on Friday nights is usually pizza night. So I like to enjoy pizza on a Friday night, and then on Saturday night, I might have a glass or two of wine. So again, I'm not completely depriving myself of my favorite foods. I'm still squeezing them in, but just in a more balanced way. Speaking of alcohol, you also wanna limit your alcohol intake on the weekends, because when you drink too much alcohol, it can actually lower your inhibitions, meaning that you're more likely to overeat. So maybe stick to like 1 or 2 glasses, and then also make sure that you have a glass of water in between drinks. Also, you wanna make sure that you're making time for movement. And I like to call it movement instead of exercise, because when people hear the word exercise, they think of it as torture and something that they have to do. When really, I just want you to think about moving your body. And this could be however you like it. It doesn't have to be hitting the gym. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. Maybe like me, you like to throw on some soca music and you like to dance in the middle of your living room on a Saturday afternoon. Do whatever that you like to do so you get that joyful movement into your life. Weekends really are a perfect time to incorporate that fun physical activity. It could be going for a walk with a friend and maybe catching up with a friend, or it could be just doing a soca party in your living room in the afternoon. Again, just make sure that it's something that you truly enjoy. Next, you wanna plan your indulgences. And I talked a little bit about this earlier, but Friday night is my pizza night. So I know when Friday rolls around, I'm having my pizza. That's already planned out. And if you're craving something specific like dessert, it could be ice cream, it could be cake, just eat it mindfully. Savor each and every bite. This is gonna help you to avoid mindless eating. Savor your treat without guilt. And you can also pair it with healthy meals throughout the day. So for example, if I have maybe a couple slices of pizza, maybe I have a salad with it. Again, it's all about balance. And again, since sleep is so crucial to balancing your hormones and to helping to prevent overeating, make sure to check out the next video where I share my best tips on how to improve your sleep.